motivate her players to not necessarily forget about what's happened to Gwen, but certainly to focus and concentrate on the game at hand, and that can be difficult.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's been a great start.
Да, блять. with them, so you know that's part of the game plan. That's how they're comfortable to play.
2 years ago, Ireland was scoring 40 points here at the Arms Park. It was the bottom of the darkest of pits. But 2 years later, Wales are rumbling, and Wales are driving, and Wales are scoring. It's been the perfect start to this year's competition. Sean and Harris onto the field, and the Arms Park enjoying themselves in this year's 2023 Women's Six Nations. Try number 3, this time is Sean and Harris. And you're smiling, Philip.
I am. I'm just so happy for these women. You know, they're getting finally the support, the resources that they've been asking for so many years. And just look at how different they are playing the game now. They are enjoying the game. We are seeing the best of these individuals. It's inspiring and it's entertaining, which is what we're loving as well.
Bevan in the wind and the rain in the World Cup against Scotland, and a kick to win the game. Less pressure on this one, but the result is equal, and Wales are up to 19.
Best possible start for Wales, we keep saying it. It's composed, it's accurate, they look comfortable, but they're playing with an intensity as well. And like you say, so crucial, not overplaying, playing with intensity and variety. At the moment, it's just too much for this Irish team. You know, they made a big decision this year not to involve their Irish Sevens players, which they utilised last year. We've got some incredible athletes in the Irish Women's Sevens team, but they are hunting down Olympic qualifications, so a lot of those players are away on the HSBC series, which is why we're seeing such a transition in this Irish team.
That was knocked on, surely. No.
Tackle, release!
Says the referee. I think we'll just pause with the commentary to let you enjoy hymns and arias for a second.
Use now. Let's use it, 9.
Breen said he was out and she didn't bother touching Bevan. And here's Ireland through Cronin. Interesting that she was given the nod at 10. O'Brien, seen as many as the future of Irish rugby at Slab, but it's Cronin who's been asked to fulfil the duties. Jones. Ireland happy to keep ball through Hogan, the number 8. But Wales know this, and they can add numbers to the line. Williams-Morris came off a wing, put a forceful hit on the Irish midfield, and again, they're keeping ball, but they're not getting much yardage out of this Wales defence. Jugan. Finally, the kick is taken, and that bounce takes it over the touchline, and Wales once again will be able to reset and restart with 26 minutes on the clock and a 19-0 lead.
Yeah, Ireland just really struggling to relieve any pressure at the moment, not getting much distance on those clearance kicks, and then having a real battle at set piece with Wales as well.
Red, come up on the line. Let's go.
Cecilia Tupilotu is lurking with intent in midfield here. She was a dummy decoy, and George Evans was the recipient, but she'd drawn 2 defenders there, hadn't she? Her presence.
That's it. That is the threat of her.
Hannah Jones, who's seen that gap, that bit of light on the outside shoulder a couple of times. Here is Tupelotu combining with Evans in midfield, the two big carriers for Wales. And there's Sioned Harris on the field as well now, so options are varied, although Harris didn't expect that pass, and it's
First one by red,
rather
then by
untidy
green.
from Wales.
Yeah, just
Green
a little bit
stuff.
of a confusion there with the calls. I think Sioned Harris wanted that ball going out one wider, whereas Ellen Snooser was looking for one more carry.
I was happy if it's okay, but yeah, but they're struggling to stay in front.
Good defensive set there from Ireland. Wales really had a rumble on, quick rucks,
Let's go.
bringing players in. Yeah, it was definitely the call would actually have been out the back, because you had a wall of forward runners there in front of Ellen Snooser. She could have put the ball behind to the back line. They could have been in acres of space.
It's interesting for Wales having lost Siwan Lillicrap, Alicia Butchers, who fair to say has been the most talented player, or the Wales' best player of the past 2 seasons.
Yeah, absolutely.
Back.
The referee was about to give a penalty, but Ireland keep possession. That was Behan, who we've barely mentioned. It's laborious stuff. And there's some off-field scuffling happening. And it's worth keeping an eye on this, because just off camera, 3 or 4 players are still fighting on the floor whilst the rest of the players continue. Anyway, the referee will have to intervene, because that fight has gone on for a while. Keats gets it away to Williams-Morris. The players have stopped scuffling for the time being. We're going back to the action, to Alice Callender. Sioned Harris using her footwork, turning her back, NFL style twist. Bevan, Wales kicking. That's a good kick by Kira Bevan. That's a real find.
That is a very good kick.
50-22.
And it's a 50-22.
This side of the line.
Fantastic, even better. That means
Red
Wales
ball.
get the line out. And I'm laughing even more because Kira Bevan was just
You're
at the
okay,
bottom
Dorian?
of that scuffle and ran directly to that ruck, and the only thing she did was adjust her hair, put her hair back in a bun, and then picked up the ball and just nailed a 50-20.
Thank you, but no foul play.
Yeah, we didn't see it on camera, but there was an altercation between a number of players that went on
Red
for
on the line.
a good 30, 40 seconds.
There was a bit of a discussion there, wasn't there?
Red in.
Just the 2 kicks for Ireland.
Down by red.
Karen Lake, another who likes running straight and hard and drawing in defenders. Abby Fleming with 4 on her back. Kira Bevan, Snow Silk, Hannah Jones. Oh, beautiful pass at the line, but it was forward. Not sure if Hannah Jones agrees, but the referee was in the right spot.
Oh, frustration there for Lisa Neumann, the winger, getting a ball like that with a good 2 or 3 meters left and right of you to play with. That's dreamland, that's what you want as a winger. Ball from Hannah Jones. Oh, well, the referee was in the best position to call it. That's a tight
Not
one.
in the scrum, let's play on. Huh? They're only in the scrum? We're playing on. Playing on.
Over 4,500 tickets sold before today. There'll be a decent walk-up with the weather. And they've been entertained, haven't they?
They certainly have. Yeah, this is the busiest I've seen the Cardiff Arms Park at a Women's International for a long time. What a fantastic treat for the spectators and also for the players, you know. Yes, they're playing that game because they love it, but they're also representing their nation, and they do it with the utmost pride. And to have people here cheering them on, it's just that extra element of motivation. good to see from both teams' perspective. The penalty counts have been kept down. These teams were both the worst offenders in the last Six Nations. Wales receiving the most amount of cards, 4 yellows in total. So yes, it's easier to keep your penalty count down when you're very dominant, but still, it's good to see them making good decisions at the ruck area, where quite often you'd see teams giving away penalties. At the moment, both teams just 3 penalties each.
Winners on for Teely at full back.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
3 tries for Wales. Alice Callender, Kira Bevan and Charlotte Harris. But the big talking point has been the scrum. And thanks to the power of Cecilia Tuipulotu, has given poor Steve McGrath a terrible time on her debut. And that's the danger with putting an 18-year-old in the front row to make your international debut in the Six Nations.
Yeah, it is. I mean, she impressed in the Celtic Challenge Cup, plays her provincial rugby at Ulster, and you know, she is receiving a lot of plaudits, but equally you've got to be blood in at some point, and it is a short World Cup cycle for these women, because the World Cup last year was meant to be played in 21. It wasn't because of COVID, so it's 22. So they've got a very short window to blood in new players, and this is a bit of a baptism of fire for her.
Bind. Set.
That's a good shunt from Ireland, and Shota has had to dig it out. There's Karen Lake. Oh, what a fend by the centre to her partner in crime, Hannah Jones, and she is mobbed by her teammates because Wales have a bonus point in the first half. Never in his wildest dreams would Johan Cunningham have expected an opening 40 quite like this one. Wales 24, Ireland 0. What about this handoff?
And it was just half a break, wasn't it? But Karen Lake showing that strength with that perfectly timed handoff to the chest, pushing away that tackle. But look, keeping that awareness, eyes up, ears open, Hannah Jones on the shoulder. Beautiful play.
Sit down.
Just selfless play as well, isn't it? You know, I've done my bit. What can I do now to put someone else into space? You know, Wales scored tries last year, but it was mostly through the forwards, so it's really good to see them developing now this backline attack.
Well, Hannah Jones scored one of the most important tries in Welsh rugby history against Ireland last season. This one, perhaps a little bit less on the block, but it just showed strength and communication skills from her partner, Karen Lake, and that's the bonus point. There's a charge down. And Wales cannot afford to be complacent, but they do get the penalty. And Eleanor Snowsill did ever so well to recover the situation there.
Yeah, brilliant defensive work there from the Irish forwards, getting that charge down. Unfortunately, they've just been pinged for going off their feet, so they can challenge the player on the ground, but they've got to let them get up first. Unfortunately, the 2 Irish forwards so keen to get there.
Well, one player who sadly isn't on the field right now is Alicia Butchers, but she's with Laura.
Thanks, Gareth. Yes, player of the match in this game last year. Not on the field because you suffered quite a serious knee injury in the World Cup. Firstly, Alicia, how are you? When can we expect to see you back?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. My rehab and recovery has been going well, and you know, I feel really lucky that I get this opportunity to speak here today. A different role than normal, but I'm here with the girls, so I'm really happy about that.
A word on the pack, clearly giving you a strong platform into this game. 2 more tries, and Cecilia Tuipulotu. You watch her and you think she could play anywhere on the pitch, potentially, but she's looking very comfortable in that creature.
Yeah, she's outstanding. I mean, she's had a really quick start into her international career, but she's shown here today why. The scrum has been outstanding. I think it's you know, been one of our platforms to play off, and I think that's really exciting for Cecilia, so I'm really happy for her.
Well,
back to the action.
I was going to ask you how many points you think this wind is worth, but I imagine with bonus point one 30-minute mark is more than you and Cunningham could have hoped for.
100%, you know. Vibe's been really good in the camp, and we're really excited about how we're going. I got to go.
Thank you. Alicia is on water duties, and she's also a bit of a motivational speaker on that pitch this afternoon. So back to you, Garrett.
Cheers, Lauren. Busy young woman is Alicia Butchers. It's good to see that the knee's okay. She's back on with the water. And I mentioned it earlier, what a player she is.
What a player, yeah, absolutely. She's as comfortable on the 15s field as she is on the 7s field. That's testament to her fitness levels, her work ethic, her ability to put in those big passes. She's speedy as well, deceivingly quick. So yeah, real shame that we're not seeing her in this campaign, but I have no doubt she will be coming back fitter, faster, stronger, and even in better shape.
Yeah, back on the road to recovery, and that's another thing that a professional contract allows you, is the ability to recover, because in the past other people would have jobs and that could affect your own professional career, couldn't it?
Well, absolutely, and Alicia Butchers is actually testament to that. It was only a couple of years ago she had a serious leg injury and she had to crowd fund to pay for her operation, whereas now she's professional, she's being taken care of and looked after properly.
Still another injury at the minute. I think it's to Breen, the centre for Ireland. It's been a stop-start. If you're just joining us, 4 tries to Wales. Calendar, Bevan, Harris, Jones. There was an early injury to Gwen Crabb, who departed in some severe pain. But when you speak of 35 minutes that had been in the planning for a long, long time, this could not have gone much better. And as for the Ireland coaches, Ireland of course didn't make the World Cup last year after a disastrous qualifying campaign, and they did play against Japan, but it's clear that this is an Irish side in full reset mode, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. That really shocked the rugby world. To see a World Cup without Ireland in it was such a shame, and they are going through that rebuilding process, and like I say, they're really trying to separate themselves now from the 7s and the 15s programs, making them separate entities. But they have now got contracts in place for their 15s program, so they're going to take a little bit of pain in this Six Nations, I dare say, but it's all looking to gear towards performing the best at the next World Cup.
There we go. And that is the boost that Steve McGrath really needed, because she's finally found her mojo, and it was Wales who were going backwards.
Yeah, you know, when you've got score lines like this at half-time, you've got to talk about certain elements of performance, and one thing Greg McWilliams is going to talk about is the fact that Wales have been so dominant in the scrum, but this forward pack have learned, they've grown, they've stayed in the fight, and they've come away with a dominant performance like that just before half-time, which is key.
We mentioned it's a 10, 15-point win potentially. It's not a 26-point win, is it?
No, it's certainly not. No.
Another error by Ireland, and Jugan, who cleans things up. Hogan, number 8, carried impressively so far. Ireland have spent a lot of time in that middle part of the ground between 22 and halfway line. They just cannot get out and get out with any territory, and they'll go again. Nicola Friday, talismanic second row skipper for Ireland. Wild pass, and Breen is going backwards. She's been chased down by Sinead Harris, who grabs her shirt, and now Ireland all of a sudden are back in their own 22, and they've got to rebuild again.
Yeah, and like you say, as much as you can't maybe use that territorial kick because of that swirling wind, it'll just push the ball back. Something like a grubber kick, just putting it in behind the Welsh defence, making them turn and reset. Because at the moment, they're playing into the Welsh defensive hands.
Another jackal by Gwenllian Pearce. She did it in the opening 5, she's just done it again.
Yeah, and this is, again, that progression, that fitness element. You've got a front row that are not only completely fronting up, as it were, in a scrum, but their mobility around the park and affecting situations like this ruck. Look, strong body position, straight in over the ball, completely in control. Fantastic flexibility, strength, brilliant work.
Loose throw. So it may well be an A- report card at half-time as opposed to an A. Few bits and bobs needed to execute. Ireland going the long way. Doyle. Ball spilt and it's knocked on. Wales possession again. So the half started with an Alice Callender driving maul try. Kira Bevan sniped around the fringes to get a second. Shauna Harris before the centre partnership of Karen Lake and Hannah Jones got Wales the bonus points. Later this afternoon, Scotland away in Newcastle against defending champions England, and then in Parma tomorrow, Italy against France. Final action of a near perfect first half for Wales. Keat, Neumann, buzz of anticipation echoing around the Arms Park. Good tackle on George Evans. Wales could put this out and end the half, but they have the wind on their backs. Alex Callender isolated, but Shauna Harris, yeah, she dived in from the side. She didn't have much option, and she's penalised.
It will be, so you can tap and kick it out.
Unsurprisingly, Ireland bang it straight off the field and rush back into the sheds. Wales will take a second to gather themselves, walk in together. Plenty to reflect from an Irish perspective, so much to enjoy from a Welsh point of view. At half-time, it's Wales who lead, and they lead very comfortably.
Well, it has been one-way traffic during that first half. 4 unanswered tries for Wales. Hannah Jones, the captain, securing the bonus point before half-time. Ireland really struggling to make their mark on this match. Well, let's have a little look at the stats then. They tell the story, don't they? But possession quite equal between the two sides. Territory, Wales dominate. Penalties conceded, it's even. And then tackles made, Wales 77, Ireland 70. Carries very much equal as well, but Wales have been dominant with those tackles. So Wales lead 26-0 at half-time. And Siwan, I'm sure when Johan Cunningham went to bed last night, that first 40 minutes, beyond his wildest dreams.
Yeah, absolutely. What a start for the girls. It started with that first scrum of the game, you know, 1 minute in, dominant scrum, penalty, but what a start. You couldn't ask for it. Set piece is functioning superbly. The girls are up for this game and they're getting over the gain line.
And as for Ireland, they are struggling, as I said. For you, what's not going right for them at the moment?
Oh, in fairness, I think the decision to go with the wind from Wales at the start was key in terms of how effective their defensive sets are, and that's putting Ireland under serious pressure. And when you're in positions where it's not as easy to kick for territory, it's making it very difficult, but also equally for Wales, it gives them that dominant line speed.
We were talking before the match and we were just wondering how Tupelotu would do in that front row. First scrum of the game and we get our answer, pretty sharpish.
Yeah, absolutely. First scrum of the game, she stamps her authority on that. Then they get a penalty, kick to corner, great driving maul. Look at the setup, execution of line-out. But look at Cecilia Tupelotu here. Look at the force and power. She's navigating that scrum at the front. They find an edge. And be patient in there. Wales are absolutely patient. They're confident with their structures. And then Alex Calendar goes over. You know, they don't panic at all here. And then Alex Calendar goes over and there's a massive Welsh celebration. But a really good finish as well.
Alex Calendar, so dominant during the World Cup, a real standout performer. That second try for Wales, a similar dominance with the physicality with the forwards.
Oh, absolutely. Wales were dominant on defence, won the ball back, managed to work through these phases. Look how comfortable Kieran is at the back there, controlling those pods. Target rucks there, they know the pick and go, where to target here, and she just has a look at that space, steps off her left, has a look over the line, and takes that try for Wales for that second.
Nobody is going to stop her there.
No, and she'd be so happy with that. But also, look at the work you've just seen. Gwenllian Pearson there as well. She steps up, actually blocks Sam Monaghan from coming in to make that tackle, and Keira identifies that, so that's really good identification.
A really nasty injury for Gwen Crabb during that first half. Really disappointing to see her once again after battling back from a broken leg. But Sinead Harris coming on as a substitute and getting that third try.
Yeah, absolutely. Always an impact Sinead brings, you know, and a huge amount of experience. And her finish there, it was absolutely superb. You know, the maul goes down, but she knows exactly where the trialing is, and that reach and finish shows Sinead's experience really showing through there.
And then a bonus point before half-time. Hannah Jones, captain, centre, getting that all-important fourth and that bonus point, as I said.
Absolutely. Super scrum from Wales. And they just go for that miss one pass. Keira Lake with the super inside ball to her captain Hannah to get up the line. And defensively, it's super hard to defend a miss one. If you're going to go, you've got to go from that first receiver position. And that's where Ireland got a bit caught out defensively.
For now, thank you very much. Let's get some more reaction, shall we? Philippa is with Lauren.
She is, and she's absolutely buzzing after this 40 minutes of rugby, Philippa. We know every team in the Six Nations is professional in some shape or form, but did that first 40 clearly show that some teams are further down the line than others, and Wales are, what, a year and a bit further ahead than Ireland?
Yeah, absolutely. You could see with their composure, they're playing with intensity, which shows fitness, but they're not overplaying, which shows composure. And they look so comfortable together. And that's going to happen. The more time you spend together, the more time you play together, it's going to result in moments like that. And I'm buzzing to see this crowd here, biggest crowd I've seen for a while, and they are being entertained.
Yeah, we were hearing people were queuing to get in even after kick-off. But I talked about the pack with Alicia. Could have easily talked about the backs and the way they were bearing the point of attack. Is that what suits you most?
Oh, absolutely. Because we've always known Wales have had good forwards and they've always scored up front off driving line-out mauls and whatnot. But to see that centre combination between Karen Lake and Hannah Jones, it's gelling. They're getting the ball into the wide channels and they're proving a real threat. The variety of attack and how they're scoring their tries is what's impressed me most.
And just a short word on Gwen Crabb. We've seen her on crutches. We don't know the extent of the injury. She's looking quite distressed and having just come back from an injury. Yeah. It's a huge blow for her on a personal level.
It really is, because she is a real asset to this Welsh team. A young player that is so professional. She works so hard and she's had to come through this before. So it's sad, but I have no doubt that she will come back even stronger.
But if I get back to that commentary point, thank you very much.
Well, 4 tries in all for Wales. Another opportunity to watch Keira Bevan getting the second of the game. It's all smiles at half-time here at the Arms Park. Well, following this match, England, the favourites for the title, they take on Scotland. 4:45 that one on BBC One. Sonia McLaughlin is in Kingston Park for us.
Well, there's a bit of emotion swirling around Kingston Park today because local favourite Sarah Hunter, the England skipper, is calling time on her illustrious career after today's women's match in the Six Nations between England and Scotland. Former Scotland prop Heather Lockhart is with me. England will say, Heather, look, it's just another game, but it's not, is it? How might that impact them today, do you think?
Yeah, obviously there's been a phenomenal build-up this week, and congratulations to Sarah on such a fantastic career. But I think as soon as the whistle goes today, it's game on. She'll be the sports person she is, and the whole team as well, and channeling that emotion, and they'll want to do her proud and do her justice today in front of a home packed-out crowd. So it'll just be going to be a fantastic match.
It's been a tough old time for Scotland of late. 9 defeats on the spin, but they've got professional contracts for the very first time. How might that impact them? Could we see the benefit of that during the Six Nations?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting one. It's just a fantastic thing. And I think psychologically, to know even for training the last 3 weeks, they had weekends off, they had downtime. And I think as well, the match experience game from the narrow losses last year in the Six Nations and the World Cup. And hopefully they'll put that to good use, the match experience, and just manage the second half a wee bit better and turn those narrow losses into wins.
I've seen England described as vulnerable, if the Red Roses could ever be described in that fashion, because they've got so many injuries. Is it a good time, though, for Scotland to play them?
I think it's just always a fantastic honour for both sides. England against Scotland is such an amazing match-up, 31 times played, but I think Scotland will be looking to do themselves justice. They'll be under no illusions. England's packed 486 caps between them. Marley Packer 90th cap today, so they're going to have to be at their very best defensively. Chloe Rowley, however, scored against England last year. They lost 57-5, and she'll be looking to cross the whitewash again today, along with debutant Fran McGee, who starts in the left wing, a former ballet dancer, so she'll be dancing down that left wing. Watch out for her.
We will. Good luck to Fran. We look to see how she goes today. Gabby and the gang will be here at 4:15. England, Scotland, TikTok, Women's Six Nations. It kicks off at 4:45. See you then.
It's very calm, isn't it, at Kingston Park? Much more life here at the Cardiff Arms Park, where these fans are really enjoying themselves. England, that disappointment of the World Cup, I wonder, will that spur them on? Because they are once again the favourites for the title, aren't they, Senni?
Yeah, the first game out for England after the final of the World Cup. Obviously a huge occasion for the Angel of the North, Sarah Hunter, 141 caps. All of the English internationals who've been playing in the Allianz Premiership have been on fire. So it'll be some spectacle, I think, against a Scotland side that will need to be ready for that challenge.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Scotland get on, because they are Wales's next opponents next week.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure the guys will have a firm eye on it. And Scotland have experienced quite a lot of heartache over the Six Nations and what happened there. And they'll be wanting to put a lot right this campaign. But it's always a tough start when you face England. But England have a lot of changes in their squad since the World Cup as well. So I'm sure they'll be looking to cause an upset today. A lot of those girls have been on form in Allianz 15s for Scotland. Majority of them play over in England. So I'm sure it'll be a challenge, but I'm sure England will be looking to put a win under their belts for Sarah Hunter. What a legend.
Very much looking forward to that game later on this afternoon. Well, as we know, rugby really is a sport for everybody, and that includes pupils at Britain's largest special education school in Penarth. They've been preparing for their own Six Nations, and this week they had a very special visit from some of the girls in the Wales squad.
Guys, we ready for a rugby session? Let's go, let's go, let's go. We got a big surprise for you today. So we've managed to get in 3 of the international girls who are playing for Wales on Saturday against Ireland. Okay, so do you want to just give them all a big round of applause for me and welcome them in? Are we all up for it? Yeah. Good, like only Noah is, but that's fantastic.
3, 2, 1, off you go!
We look at autism, physical disabilities, Down syndrome, behavioural and kind of outside kind of social anxiety needs and trauma needs.
And pass it to me. Good job.
I think it's great to show the kids that they can do these things. It's the options and the avenues are out there, and we're here to help them achieve that. And to see the girls coming in, happy, sprightly, looking forward to it, game face on.
Oh, you're supposed to go over first.
It's trying to get a little bit more exposure to that, and to show everyone that actually, doesn't matter where I'm from, sport is available to absolutely everyone.
1, 2, 3, show. Oh, well done, team.
But today we were rugby because I love rugby.
It makes me feel great. Get my blood pumping, get ready to run all around. Well, pretty tiring, but it's good.
think rugby's, you know, built for people of all shapes and sizes, and you know, it doesn't matter who you are, where you're from. You know, everyone can give the game a go. You know, when I was in school, I didn't get a chance to play rugby, and I would have loved to have given it a go, you know. So I think all the opportunities that are about, especially for young girls nowadays, to give rugby a go, you know, it's really important to grow the game.
So I don't know if you know, tomorrow we've got, I mean, you got your first start on Saturday, the Six Nations against Ireland, I've heard. We've got our Six Nations tournament, our equivalent, tomorrow. So I want to just ask you, what do you do to kind of prepare, and any tips?
I think I get nervous before every game. My dad used to say, if you're not nervous, you're not ready.
No, you definitely just go out there, enjoy it. I think it's the most important thing. So as long as you're having fun, you'll enjoy.
We concentrate on life skills and social skills, and using, for me personally, it's about using the medium of sport to teach those kids that. Good tackle, Charlie, well done. They're playing with kids they've never met before, and today, without actually knowing it at all, they've learned so many things, not just about rugby. I think rugby's that tiny medium that we've used to teach them a lot about what they can and what they're capable of doing. So far? Gives you that kind of cliche warm fuzzy feeling inside, if I'm honest.
If you haven't seen the series, it is definitely worth a watch. A special school available now on the iPlayer. Heartwarming stuff. Right then, we have a few moments left of half-time. Sene, I'm just wondering, this wind that's been swirling around the place, causing havoc, the famous Cardiff Arms Park weather, it will be in Ireland's favour. How do they exploit that now in the second half?
Oh, Ireland need to play a territory game. You need to play a territory game against a defensive weapon like that, and Wales have just shown how dominant, how connected, how quick their line speed is. And so if I were Ireland, I'd just use it, the wind, ping it down the corners and then play it up the pitch.
And as for Wales, they will want more tries. They'll be quite greedy now. Sean Connor has come in to help with that attack. Have you seen his influence this afternoon already?
Yeah, I have, you know, and I knew they were going to play a bit of a flatter game and exploit areas in attack that maybe we hadn't seen before. And we absolutely seen that with Kerry Lake going through the centre. So, yeah, Sean brings an enormous amount of energy, and I think the girls are loving learning off him. So he's a great addition to this side. You know, I think Wales' set pieces look dominant, but they're also looking threatening in other areas, which is a huge bonus.
I've been in camp actually with him there. It's all smiles. You can see that Johan Cunningham enjoying having him there as well. How much are Ireland missing their sevens girls at the moment? They have an inexperienced backline, don't they?
Yeah, they are inexperienced, and we've actually got one back sub left to go, Dana O'Brien, so it'll be interesting to see when she comes on and how she's utilised.
And what about that Welsh bench? Anybody you'd like to see come on in the second half?
Well, they've got lots of experience on there. Carol Thomas, Shaky George has been outstanding with Gloucester Harbury this year and offers something different from a tennis perspective. Massive boot on her, massive skill set and outstanding talent. So I'd like to see Shaky come on. They've got experience on the bench as well that they can call upon.
Right then, let's go back to commentary. An intriguing second half in prospect. It's Philippa Tuttiett and Gareth Rhys-Owen.
Welcome back. Johan Cunningham, Wales head coach, just bumped into us, and his message to the players is really clear, really simple. Let's finish this off.
Nice. Last Six Nations, Wales became known as Cunningham's comeback queens, as they were leaving it to the very last minute to cross over the whitewash. Well, they have certainly started with the best possible way.
For Wales, that first half could not have gone better. For the Irish, they have the wind in the second half, but they have a mountain to climb. But it starts now. Monaghan, driven back by Pearce and by Seanan Harris. And the whooping and the hollering tells you everything about what the Welsh players think of that particular passage of play.
They're just creating these energising moments, aren't they? Big hits when they're connecting defensively, they're driving Ireland back, putting the pressure on. For Ireland, they've got to use a bit more of a strategic kicking game. They've got to try and relieve some pressure, because trying to carry it out against a very organised, look at that double hit there, two players in perfect position to make a shot.
This will be your mark.
You can't carry out against a defence like that.
What a game Guthian Perth is having.
Absolutely fantastic game so far.
Well, the call at half-time would have been deja vu. And with 41 minutes on the clock,
Through the middle.
Wales are within touching distance again. Where's the ball then? There it is. Karen Lake stands expecting the ball. It's slow ball. So unsurprisingly, Lake just charges ahead and again gets over the game line. Tupelotu, so powerful at scrum time, but also with ball in hand. George Evans drifts out of one tackle, but that's a big tackle on her. Wales will keep going in the same direction. Neumann with a carry. Patient play here. Bethan Lewis, leg drive from her and the support, but it's sacked. Now Wales may have an opportunity if they look to give it some width, but the forwards assume responsibility. Good defence from Ireland, but they're under the cosh. Tupelotu! The new superstar of Welsh rugby is born. Cecilia Tupelotu, destructive at scrum time, powerful ball in hand, and it's all smiles from her and her teammates. You do not stop her that short from the try line.
Fantastic awareness from her. Look, she's looking up, biding her time, waiting for the perfect moment. Ireland had switched off. They completely switched off defensively. But Cecilia Tuipulotu was certainly switched on to the tiniest little gap there. She can expose it with her strength and her power.
Good from Bevan. And that scoreline is starting to look rather ugly for Ireland.
Yeah, it really is. They're just struggling to get any kind of hold into this game. They haven't managed to string anything together in attack, and they just cannot relieve the pressure that Wales is putting on them. They're really getting pinned into their own half.
Okay. Yep. That's right. You roll. Have you got a clear knock on? Save me running all the way down there. Okay. No try, knock on.
Well, changing the law back in the day, I mean, they say back in the day, a year ago, once the conversion was taken,
green, it's in the field of play.
A try had to be given. But the TMO has intervened and it's come back and it's no try.
Yeah, claiming that there is a knock on somewhere. Hopefully, we might get to see a recap of where that happened.
It was on the try line.
Potentially they're thinking that Tuipulotu fumbled it as she tried to pick it up.
We're seeing Tempest, the TMO's call.
Off. Do your lace up. Okay, let's go. Let's go.
So we're back to 26 points to nil.
Crouch.
And Ireland will want to get this in out and away.
Set!
Scuffer McKay feeds it. That's a solid platform. Breen. Ireland again rejecting the idea of kicking, but I think that was just to get a better angle, adjust the lines of sight and direction towards the touchline, and Cronin doesn't get a touch. Williams Morris straight into the tackle, but Doyle did well to hang on. Tuipulotu didn't get much of a run up. Ireland turn it over, illegally so though.
Cynical, knock on. Off we go. She's deliberately knocked it out of the hand. Deliberate knock on.
Frustrations from the Irish team starting to show through, so desperate to try and affect the situation. Claim their referee saw a deliberate knock on, so it's cynical play. Not trying to go for a pass or an intercept, deliberately knocking there, see? Challenging the 9 with the ball.
Ireland down to 14 players. Nick of Ed in the bin, and Wales hungry for more. For so many barren years, the women in red are starting to click. More scuffling off the ball. Meanwhile, Tuipulotu, this time she gets over, and this time she'll want assurances that this try is given. Cecilia Tuipulotu won't be denied second time around.
She is on fire. You just can't stop her. That close to the line. She has just got so much power and strength. There was a patient build-up here from Wales. Key was that recycling of the ball. They didn't force it. Remember now, if you get held up over the line, it's a turnover ball to the opposition. So you've got to be sure. And look at this, one-out runner. You don't normally like a player to run on their own, but you know what? With her, we'll make an exception.
I did say she wouldn't be denied. There was a scuffle off the ball, which didn't lead to any further sanctioning. So for now, Ciara Bevan will have another opportunity to convert a Cecilia Tuipulotu try.
Just look at how many players just bounce off her. So hard to tackle.
Dana O'Brien is on the field. She's not carrying a number on the back, but she is number 22 officially. And it looks like she'll be slotting in at full-back.
6 needs to roll.
Wall penalised this time. I'm going to take you back, Philip Tetiet, to Wales Ireland 2021, when Ireland win by 40 points, and it should have been more.
Yep.
Tears on the field.
There you go. Yeah.
Post-match with the Welsh players completely downbeaten, downtrodden. Must be a remarkable for somebody involved so heavily in the game as you are to see this turn around.
It's incredible, and I'm just so thankful that they've got what they deserve, the resources, the support. You know, in that particular game, Siwan Lillicrap gave a speech after, and she was in tears.
Sionaid Harris over the game line. Numbers for Wales here. Hannah Jones keep running out of space as Williams Morris, and yet she lost possession, and that was inevitable really, because Wales did need someone to straighten.
back.
Oof. Well, no thank you. O'Brien got a terrible
Pulled her by
pass,
the
but she
hair.
really didn't fancy sticking hands on it either, so she tried to control it, football style, and got away with it, I'd say.
Oh. Oh, good.
Great chase up there by Georgia Evans, really hustling that. That's twice now the 9-10 combo for Ireland. They're not helping one another out there.
Remember, BBC Two Wales tomorrow, enormously important day for Welsh rugby, the EGM. Where the game is looking to reform itself, change the composition of the board. Scrum 5 will be there in Port Talbot, bringing you the latest, and of course extended highlights of this game and all the URC matches, including an Ospreys victory today. Calendar accelerates into contact. It's one of those games where you want possession, you want an opportunity to show yourself at your best. Hannah Jones, good tackle on her. Ireland have had to do so much defending. This time it's turned over.
Leave it.
They're waiting for Monaghan. She's done that time and time again, just a single first step carry, and the likes of Tupelotu, Pearce, Shauna Harris are just lined up, double teaming her. And Ireland, a little bit disjointed, but that's a big kick, taking advantage of the wind. Keat. Yeah. Kira Bevan knew what she was doing there.
Yeah, she did. Great kick. That's the type of exiting kick Ireland need. It's just a shame that that's the first time we've seen it, and it's 51 minutes into the game.
Kira Bevan's body language there, the fact that she just turned on her heels immediately, wanted no discussion with the referee, suggested to me that she knew she was the guilty party in that particular incident. Yeah, that's the biggest kick of the game. 47.6 metres. O'Brien on for Cronin. Let's see how this changes the pattern of play for the Irish. Well, Ireland have struggled for 10 since Nora Stapleton retired. They've gone through a number of players. Many thought Dan O'Brien would be the future. Big call to pick Cronin instead of her. But for now, she allows the players and the forwards to continue trundling on. Moore is on at scrum half. Cronin, I say, is playing scrum half. Breen. Interesting. With Cronin playing 9. Oof, just held on to. Scuffle McCabe is on the wing and she's given the side width, but they'll still keep it with the forwards. Good offload to Hogan.
Turnover good.
Another penalty. And this is Ireland's best passage of play for the whole match so far.
It is, and it's, you know, no coincidence it's come from a massive kick. It's that confidence boost. Yeah, we've got a bit of control in this game. Like I say, it's just a shame it's taken so long for them to utilise that, but still, they're in the right areas of the field. This is really their first proper chance at attack.
Are we good? Once we lose our bind, go to the back. Green 10, you can't be there. You go in the line.
Months and months of training, preparing for moments like these. Yet Ireland have been starved of them for 53 minutes. Finally, the forwards get to go through their paces in the opposition 22, but they've been repelled. Well, Senna who's joining us. Senna, I wanted to bring you in just to ask you, firstly, do you see a sign of improvement for Ireland? And secondly, what difference has the change at 10 made?
Over there.
Yeah, it's great to see Diana O'Brien come on at 10. She's a natural 10 there, moves Nicole Cronin to scrum half. And we spoke at half-time, Shawan and myself, about that wind being a real key factor in terms of the team that gets the territory. So it's good to see the green side, good to see Ireland kick the ball for possession, for territory, sorry. But it's just the being able to execute it. Welsh too dominant now here.
Isn't it?
The gap's okay, girls. You've got space in it. And Rhea, just shuffle back then. Let's go. No, you're okay. Crouch. Bind. Set.
That scrum again, and Wales are reaping the rewards of a dominant set piece. Ireland got field position, but they could do nothing with it, and now Wales have an opportunity to exit their 22.
They're just dominating every facet at the moment, aren't they? And they're doing it all with smiles on their faces. Every time these moments of play, just re-energising the Welsh team and just killing any momentum that Ireland are managing to develop.
What a moment for Kate Williams, a warfare officer for the Royal New Zealand Navy. 22 years old, born in Swansea, has played Super Rugby for the Blues, the Auckland Blues, but she decided to give it all up, to chance her arm, to play professional rugby, because that is the opportunity that's presented to players in Wales right now. And here she is, hoping to prove herself at this level.
Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it? What a fantastic story. She was living down in New Zealand during the World Cup, so she joined in with the Welsh squad, did some training. She actually went onto the bench for Wales at one point, didn't get off, and now here she makes her debut. It's amazing, isn't it? Talk about inspiring people to play when you turn professional like this. It's reaching all corners of the world. Players are wanting to play for Wales.
Not straight. Outside. Scrum.
It's a cliche, isn't it? Inspiring, but then you look around this crowd. How many players? What was your worst ever attendance for a Wales international? I do jest, but I think it's worth it for context.
Oh yeah, let's put this into context. Okay, I started in 2006. You'd be lucky if there was maybe 100, 200 in the crowd, and that's mostly your family and friends. People didn't know about it unless they had a direct connection with the player on the field. Right here, we know there were 4,000 tickets sold coming into this fixture, but there were so many sold on the door. This is the busiest I have ever seen the Cardiff Arms Park for a women's fixture, and they are, you know, that support has been duly rewarded with a fantastic performance from Wales.
And the diversity of crowd as well, in terms of gender, range of ages.
Absolutely.
The growth potential is enormous, and at the time where Welsh rugby is struggling for any sense of positivity, this is something to hang your hat on for sure.
Get the vines in there. Let's go. Let's go. I'll give you the time, so just have another account.
What are we? 16, 17 months into national contrast. Ireland are a year behind.
Yeah, they really are. Yeah, they are, and add into the mix the fact they made that decision not to use their sevens players, to keep them separate. That's a big group of players. Probably about 4 or 5 girls that would have been starting today are away with the sevens.
Yeah, especially in the back line. Some very talented players, and sadly, it's been hard going here. Friday, the captain, this time Ireland looking to expand their players. Irwin, good offload. Scuff from McCabe, good footwork by her. Scrum half now playing the wing. Hannah Jones is down. She's in a bit of pain too. More carries. Ireland have been here for a while now in the second half. Hannah Jones is still down. O'Brien, Friday, Irwin, forced back inside. O'Brien over the touchline, and again more pressure on Wales.
Yeah, you've got to give credit to this Irish team. You know, with a scoreline like that, they could have easily self-combusted on themselves, but they haven't. They're staying in the fight. You know, that's one thing you can never question these Irish girls about, is their work ethic and their pride. And they are up against it in pretty much every facet of the game, and yet they are still managing to force their way into the right areas of the field.
Full green. Thank you.
Another penalty coming again. Going back to set piece.
Full green.
It's a quick fix sometimes.
It's just proving such a weapon, isn't it, for Wales?
Back over here. Back.
Good kick. Let's go down to the touchline. Back to Lauren and Alicia.
Subs.
Alicia, 4,962, a new record crowd here at the Arms Park. Does it feel different? Yeah, as somebody who's played many games here, does it feel different standing on the touchline in front of a raucous atmosphere?
Yeah, it really does. I mean, we've got nearly two sides full here, whereas last Six Nations we only had the one side full, so I think the atmosphere has been incredible, and no doubt that's had its part to play in the performance today.
And then putting on a show for Cecilia Tupelotu, who's just left the pitch. Ireland are having a bit more ball in this half. How important will it be for Wales to finish strongly, that you potentially keep them scoreless?
Oh, that'd be incredibly incredible for us. Our confidence going into next week, I think it's really important. But we're just solely focused on getting the win today and the performance that will follow with that as well. So yeah, the girls have been outstanding, and Cecilia has just played her part within the role today. So very, very happy.
Alicia,
thank you.
On the ball.
Yeah, Wales did all the hard work there, but if anything, they ran away from support.
Maybe
Now,
7 or 6.
Ireland are looking to play. We spoke about the sevens background of many of these players. If anything, overplaying. No scrum half for Wales. So Gwerthian Pearce flies in. George Evans is now skipper. Karen Lake. Again, such a powerful, strong athlete is Karen Lake. She's a real nuisance to pull down. Evans. Snows, great pass by her. Wales are purring in Cardiff. Callender then in at 9. Pearce, who's put in a real shift. The loose set. Pretty sure that Tupelotu will draw the plaudits. But Pearce has been equally as impressive.
She's
on penalty.
Leave it. Holding.
Well-timed challenge there from the Irish back in that ruck. Just catching the Welsh player holding on.
Yes. Aoife Dalton, 13 for Ireland, was a very talented player herself. Just haven't had an opportunity to see a knock on by Keith. And that's one that will be in the negative column come video review on Monday, and Courtney Keith knows that already. Kelsey Jones, not for the first time smiling.
You're okay?
Always smiling. Always smiling.
Always Always a smile on her face, and the evergreen Cat Evans is on to replace her.
Yeah, Kelsey Jones, such an important squad member, just full of positive energy on and off the field.
Playing?
But like you say, Cat Evans coming on, the experienced Saracens player, played a bit of sevens as well. You know, the Wales have really gone for that mobility in the front row.
Let's go, form up. Here's the mark.
Sophie and Lewis as well.
Come and set.
Scrum half, score of the crucial try here against the Scots last year, where Wales got out of jail somehow. They've got a habit of doing that against Scotland, and it's the Scots next for Wales.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
O'Brien, Dolan, nice, Green, scuffing like Kane. This time Keith brings her down. Good angle from Ireland. Still haven't given up quite yet. O'Brien on the hunt.
Quiet.
O'Brien. Jugan. Sinead Harris attempts to pinch it. She's brushed away. Friday. Was that nudged forward? No. The play on. Derver Nickerbird. Crossfield kick. Neumann will allow that to trickle over.
It's good for Ireland to mix up the attacking picture there, but that's a ball that really should have been kept in field. They had a good bit of possession there. They were starting to trouble the Welsh defensive line. It doesn't need to go out to the edge, just in behind, a little bit shorter. We could have had a foot race.
Head. Yeah, she's coming. I'll let them sort themselves out. You okay? You sorted your spot? Come in. Yep, she's coming. So. It's in the fire, play.
Now the game might be done for both sides, but these are useful exercises for both coaching setups.
Use it now!
Because they will be tested later in this championship. Fionn Lewis on for Ciara Bevan. Exit, so almost 5,000 here. Record crowd for a Wales game. Can we just discuss pre-tournament predictions? This was seen by many as the battle for third place, with France and England way ahead, and maybe Scotland and Italy slightly behind. Is that disrespectful to Italy and Scotland, and possibly overestimating France or England, or is that really where these sides are now?
To a certain extent, it's not. England are at the top, even though they've had some serious injuries. Emily Scarlett, Hannah Bottom are not involved, but they've got such strength and depth, so they're still going to be running high. With France, they've got a change of coaching management. They've had some injuries, some retirements, so I actually think that they are now in the mix with the best of the rest, so to speak.
Ireland, this is the closest they've been in this game. They've been better in the second half. There's a carry from O'Connor. Substitute have made a difference. Friday, she'll keep coming, the skipper. Zhu Gang. Another penalty.
Number 4 collapsing.
Yeah, taken quickly by Nickerbird. Derville Nickerbird.
Shot!
Almost there. Friday, play scrum half. Monaghan Head down. She's short. Told so by the referee. Surely Ireland are there. Friday's over the line. She's convinced she's scored. TMO will get the final say. But Ireland seem to say that they've scored their first try.
Any more grounding? Tempo, coming to you.
Yeah, got you, mate.
At the moment, I've got no grounding. I haven't seen anything, so I've got no try. But can you please confirm if there was a grounding there?
Yeah, stand by, mate. So on-field decision is no try.
Yes, no try held up.
Okay.
Just to note, those directives are quite important because the referee says no try unless there's definitive. Oh yeah, it's a try. It's a try.
Yeah, it has to be clear and obvious, doesn't it? Yeah. And that pretty much is. I really think the bench for Ireland have made a real big impact. And look at
Amber, the ball has been grounded, so the try is good.
All right, thank you.
Easy call for Ian Tempest. And that's the first green cheer of the afternoon, and it's Nicola Friday who gets her side's first try.
And with a game like this, with a scoreline like this, you know, the coaches would have said at half-time, right, it's 0-0. Go out and try and win the second half. And credit to Ireland that we've seen some of the best parts of them now in this second half. And that's just classic sign of a team that's going through that development change. They're going to learn so much by each game they go through. They're going to have to take that early bit of pain. But at the moment now, in the second half, that's one try apiece, so they're level. And that'll be an important factor for them to build on.
Conversion missed. Sene, improvement for sure, yeah?
Yeah, better composure from Ireland in this attacking phase. I think they're a bit more composed at the phases. Dana O'Brien is making a difference here. I think she's been able to hit the right players. There's players available to get the ball wide, but a really good finish from Ireland there for Nicola Friday.
And what's the ambition for these young Irish players for the final 13-14 minutes? Sort of keep the scoreboard down, or maybe push for a second, third try?
Yeah, I'd say they need to make sure that they execute any set pieces that they get to, that they win. Defensively, they've just got to obviously make their tackles and see where they can get the ball back. But territory is working for them. They're composed when they get the phases, they build the phases, and hopefully they're able to secure the scrum and work through the territory again.
Thanks, Annie. Carry off the base by O'Connor. She lined up Fio Lewis. Brushed her away as well. And now Ireland are shaping to kick. O'Brien.
Oh, you're on now.
Interesting. Clearly can kick with both feet, so change the angle. Keat. Big powerful full back. Job to drag her down when she gathers speed. Abby Fleming. Put a shift in as well. Ireland interfering at the breakdown, but getting penalised.
Come on. Deliberate knocked it out again.
Yep, she's gone for the iron of the 9, so she's
but she runs the risk. Penalty only this time. We've already had one in the bin for it. No more of them.
Okay, so no on the arm. Okay.
We've got the ball.
Deliberate knock on. May I suggest that if this was a closer game, that might be another yellow card?
Yeah, potentially, especially seeing as they've got form for it. So you can challenge the arm, you just can't whack the ball out of the hand. And that's where they're just sort of flirting with that line at the moment. There, see, she makes contact with the ball. You can't do that.
Thank you.
I definitely think if Wales were in more of an attacking position, maybe closer to the 22, that could have been a card.
Come in.
Reduced line odds. Snow Silk. Siobhan Harris. It's a nuisance as well, isn't she?
That's a polite way of putting it. She's one of those players you love to have on your team and hated to play against.
And she's in the thick of things again.
You can't play it in
Siobhan
the rough.
Harris. She fronts up.
Like you wouldn't believe. Yeah, incredible. Physical presence, such a leader as well. You never get anything but just 100% intensity and effort from her.
Spent a period, a sustained period of time in the international wilderness as well, where she'd fallen out of favour.
Yeah, she did. And fair play to her. I know that was really difficult for her. It was a really difficult time, but she went back to her club. She learned, she grew as a player. She kept just sticking to trying to be the best rugby player she could be, and eventually Welsh management saw the senses and got her back involved.
Would not have expected to play 70 minutes on this opening campaign, but an injury to Gwen Crabb forced that issue, and there's a turnover here for Wales. It might well be Kit Williams who did that. Eleanor Snowsill, not her best contribution to that game. And that's out in the full, and it's Irish ball.
Yeah, she was under a load of pressure then. She tried just quickly to change her angle, but when you do that, you take that extra step, you just give the defence another metre on you to pressurise there, just that extra step. Plenty of distance on it. Unfortunately, the wind just pulled it out a little earlier than she probably thought it would go. Franklin Pearce, though, what a shift. Absolutely incredible. 70 minutes in the front row, and she hasn't just been holding her own in the scrum. She's been getting the turnovers, carries, brilliant work.
Number 3. Oh, hold on. Just wait. All complete, okay, sorry. I can see. No, it's okay. Not straight. Scrum will line out. Scrum.
Going back to the conversation we had 10 minutes ago in terms of the makeup of this competition. Scotland next for Wales. With this performance in mind, we haven't seen Scotland play. So we'd expect them to find a tough match in front of them against England. Will Wales be going up there expecting to win?
Oh, absolutely. They'll be targeting that game. They've got the most recent run of form, although it has always been close against Scotland. You know, arguably, Scotland should have beaten Wales in the World Cup, and they're going to be looking to prove a point.
Wales. Offload was forced.
It's a forward and a knock-on.
Great break there by Courtney Keat, the fullback. You see her in a picture there. Such a strong runner with the ball. Try to get that offload away. You could see Fionn Lewis, like any good scrum half, running that cheat line on the inside. She might just come into your picture on the inside. Look at that great strength, ending away. Oh, could have been on. It's the right idea. She was in control of the collision. She had both hands free. Just couldn't quite execute it.
Crouch! Bind! Set! We've got both down, hide up, straighten up. No work so hard on that after that hit. Wait till that ball's in and then go. Yep, so I've got them to straighten up.
17 is Carol Thomas.
We've got a lockdown.
Who's been involved in many a scrum
Just a lock.
in the Welsh shirt. What a bad replacement to bring on in terms of experience.
Yeah, incredibly experienced player. We started around the same sort of time. I am happily retired by many a year, and she is still going. Quite incredible. And playing in the front row as well.
All good, Maria? All right. Are we right to go? All right. Water off.
What do you make of England post-World Cup, post-disappointment? Sarah Hunter's final game this afternoon. She's getting the send-off in her hometown of Newcastle. Are they vulnerable this year?
Sadly, they're not. No, they're not. Their strength and depth is so good. It's going to be an interesting time to watch them, though, because Simon Middleton, their coach, been with them for many a year. You know, we thought after they lost that World Cup final, there would be probably an immediate change of management. Not in any way to discredit what he had done, but it was just their time. He'd been there for some while, but he's actually staying on for this Six Nations. And when you consider it's only a short cycle between now and the next World Cup, whichever coach does come in, and that position is still on advertisement, we don't know who the next coach of England is going to be. They have a very short time to get to grips with their team. And they've got some injuries, but they've just got such strength and depth. You'll still see a very dominant England team, whereas France don't quite have the luxury of as much depth. So they could be the team that could be vulnerable. But
when next for Ireland?
Yeah, keep building, keep progressing. You know, they've been doing good things on their Sevens programme. They are up there as one of the best teams in the world, and that's because those girls got turned professional a couple of years ago. So they are reaping the rewards of professionalism, but like we've seen with the 15s programme, it's only recent that they've turned professionalism, so it's going to take a little while for that to bed in and for them to get the benefit.
Yeah, it is the real balance of the game and the women's game. The battle between 7s and 15. Welsh side suffering a little bit. Jazz Joyce playing GB Sems, taking a contract for the Sems circuit as opposed to a Welsh rugby contract. She might be available for a game, but do you bring somebody in for one match? Probably not. And the same applies to Ireland. They do think they could win the medal in Paris next year, and an Irish rugby medal in the Olympics is not to be sniffed at, and it's far more likely in the short term of producing major success than at 15s. Right, before we get back to that, it's that time for your nominations and your final decision for player of the match.
Yeah, for me it's actually been in the front row. I've been most impressed. I think Gwen Press has done a fantastic job fronting up, but it's the youngster for her first start, you know, in this Six Nations, Cecilia Tuipulotu, 19 years. She has the most dominant performance today. She's top ball carrier and she left the field 20 minutes ago. That's how much workload she got through. She's made her tackles, she's made her carries. And the best thing is, she's such a modest player. To be so talented, so young, how fantastic.
Family delighted. Good job, Philippa. You've made someone's day.
Hey, she's made my day. How exciting to see a talent like that coming through.
What a player, what a talent. Her dad, of course, Sione, played for Tonga, Newport. Cousin Carwyn plays for the Scarlets. But she is her own person, and it's her creating the headlines. Well done, Cecilia Tuipulotu. And Ireland, well, they're enjoying a scrum renaissance in the final 5 minutes, and maybe they might get another one. But this game is done and dusted as far as they're concerned.
Yeah, and I think the definite learning here is potentially a change in the halfbacks for the next game. I really think since they've changed and Dana O'Brien has come on, we've seen a lot more territorial kicks, a bit more organisation, just a bit more of a threat in attack.
The first 40 was nigh on pitch perfect. Since turning, there's been the odd work on. The wind clearly turned, but Wales thoroughly deserve this victory. Ireland haven't given up yet. And this is the dynamic young hooker Nick Gavin. Dalton, marshalled by Keats, and Keats and Black combined force her over the touchline, and Wales are almost there now.
Yeah, I think that will be one work on that Wales will want. Like I alluded to before, last Six Nations, they played all their rugby at the end of the game. This time round, they've played all the rugby in the first half. I think, you know, it's a try a piece in the second half, and when you consider how much dominance Wales had in that first half, you would have really liked to have seen them being a bit more ruthless, kick on and get a couple of more tries under the board.
Red ball.
Kate Williams rescued the situation there. Maybe they'll try and go from deep. Alex Carlander